Welcome to the Uncommon Woman Network, a talk show network of the uncommon, unlikely chosen generation, where a radical space and collective opens unceasing pursuit that calls forward the significance waiting for you. Listen, I'm your show host, Jessie Liv, direct leader of Dallas Lighthouse Revival Training Center, planted in Central South Dallas of Texas, founder of Liberate the Flame International, owner and CEO of Liv Company, a 5-year flourishing kingdom store and business. I'm a world travel itinerant speaker and mama to my most favorite person in the entire world, my Lily Grace. So listen, welcome to your next mark and your new beginning of the uncommon destiny that is on your life. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 4, your unusual, uncommon opposition en route there. Certain fires just need to burn out. Listen, this is going to be a game changer for you because everybody needs to hear this and know this, but also give permission to experiencing the better way to do it. Not everything is your job, but we're taught as fixers to make it our job. But you're in for a treat today because I am going to give you an extraordinary lesson with incredible forward-focused vision and realization to know what your responsibilities are, what not your responsibilities are, and how to handle these things in an assertive way. So as you're walking out your unusual, uncommon opposition in your uncommon destiny route, no pun intended, listen, I just still admire the uncommon spiel that we still have going on here. So it's just going to keep on running until it decides to stop running, okay? Can I just get an amen, somebody? So while you're working things out and as you're sifting through and navigating all the upheavals, all the oppositions, all the steers, the turns, the lefts and the rights, the forward motions and then the pull back backward motions, you can understand that when you are uncommonly purposed, you will experience uncommon opposition. Yes, there will be reroutes. Yes, there will be those interferences. But not everything is your job to fix, to assert, or to handle. And we need to know that and not only hear it, but know it. So circumstances and situations, my friend, will arise from these key points. Relationally, work ethic, personally, financially. But when these dealings with people arise, this is the one I want to talk about the most, we need to be able to pull off the false responsibility that every fire involving another person or between two others or more isn't always your mandate to fix and solve. Let me just tell you this is going to break a lot off of your mindset and a lot off of your life. Just because we are believers or just because we are in a leadership role, there is this facade that says that we have to take the world on our shoulders and we have to be mediators of every single detail, or we're not creditable if we can't fix somebody else's issues or problems or even solve our own in the middle. Now, unless we're God, that is an impossible speculation and an absolutely impossible expectation to ever place on a human being. Now, in my ministry and in my build, I just want to share this, I oversee multiple teams, multiple people. Every week, I teach and I lead them this educational subject of relational intelligence as a God high performance team. This is a game changer because what it does is it reduces the propelling projectors placed on leaders, myself, or anyone else in their circles, even their colleagues, even their comrades that they're running with and among their teams for that matter. And it says that it begins to say that if I can't handle these relational aspects, then I am still in infant stage, incapable of solution in communicational conflict. And I need someone to save my world and save my situation. Hear me out. Relational intelligence puts the focus on Christ and godly character that makes us responsible to confront communication and hold healthy space for it. One of our number one issues and problems, not just in society and culture, but even in Christian circles, is our ability to confront communication in a healthy manner. So this brother and this sister goes to the leader to tell about Jack and Sally and their problems that they have with Jack and Sally, but they do not go to Jack and Sally to communicate what their struggles or their triggers are. So instead, they put the weight of the world on the leader to begin to come into a meeting office to now begin to sift through their problems as if we are 2 and 3-year-olds and we cannot handle or adjust the situation ourselves as adults and young adults. So what this does is that blocks out time for unnecessary struggles, problems, weights, things that are being mediated that have no right even being mediated. If you are over at least the age of 17, there could be some type of cordial understanding and wisdom to begin to dialogue with another person if there is an issue. So it immediately, what I teach my team is this. Now, granted, they have, something really epic going for them that they are taught in this space. And I'm going to share with some keys that will help you for those that are not in this space, learning the equipping of how to have this relational intelligence. And even if you're not a leader, I'm going to debunk that for you in just a minute. But hang on tight. Hang on there with me, because this is already going to begin to speak to you, I assure you. And what this does is it begins to eliminate me, the leader, or the person that they're coming to, as a constant crippling mediator, and it places that other person that they're running towards and running to for resolve as an overseer. There's a big difference between mediator and overseer. And I truly lead them to be capable to handle anything with relational conflict, with relational communicational situations. All right? And it takes this incapability of the person that says, I now need to be codependent. I now need to clutch on to you to resolve and to solve this for me. Now, I cannot remember anywhere, number one, in the Bible that says that a leader, that a pastoral or an apostle or a prophet or a teacher is been given the responsibility to solve all conflict. Now, I do see where they are called to be overseers and shepherds of a flock, which means to tend to, which means to nurture, which means to care for their spiritual walk and their spiritual well-being. But when it comes to relational things, when it comes to things that want to create hindrance, relational oppositions, and relational distractions, it does not say in the Bible that my attention needs to be to every single job, to proportionate every situation and make it have a solution. That is impossible for any human being to have a solution for every single dynamic, for every single relational dynamic, communicational dynamic, even financial dynamic when you're working with someone, even in the workplace, even in your work ethic. It is absolutely impossible for you to maintain every single situation and be able to give every person an answer or the rite of passage or the right of way. All right? So what relational intelligence says is that I have authorized space for you to understand that you equally hone and claim responsibility for your environment and the environment that we are dwelling in. It is not my 100% advisory to maintain all of your atmosphere and my atmosphere. So this puts this area and the ball in their court to understand that they are indeed capable to resolve relational attributes. But what if the person that's not technically leading and just aiming for a destiny goal? What do you do then? What does that person do? If they're not exactly a leader, if they're not exactly an overseer, what does that person do? I'm glad you asked. Because maintaining amazing fruit and a pure heart is your responsibility. But leave small, petty things sent to scorch and arise fire to burn out. I've heard one of the greatest leaders even repeat this in confirmation at a hub leader gathering where over 100 leaders met together in Atlanta, Georgia this past weekend. And he said and reverberated the same thing, because not all weight is sent for you to place. Some scales are in God's hands, and some things are for God to weigh out, not yours. You don't have all the business to weigh out things. Make it balanced for every person. Make it balanced for their outer circle. Make it balanced for their inner man. People have an emotional responsibility to be maturely healthy, to maintain a healthy relational response. And if they don't, then we extend a pure heart and perfect fruit as an example that enables them to come into a place of understanding where they say, all right, I recognize I am responsible for my space. And if I'm having a conflict with Joe and Sally and Bob, then I recognize that there are some places where I don't need a codependent mediator, that I can handle these situations. And if these situations don't work out with the simple fact of overseeing them with wisdom, then just let them burn out. Because there are some fires that truly are designed to burn out. And some fires are sent to remove and to create an exit place and to create a refinement. So if we are sitting there giving the bottle of milk to every person, putting the binky in their mouth and saying, I will fix this for you, giving them the false expectation that we can, then what we do is we set up a constant codependent cycle for these individuals to continuously cause messes over and over and over again. And we never authorize a slight correction that says, I am placing a demand on this area because I see places that need to mature. I don't see places that need to be sugar-coated and Band-Aid. I see places that need to grow. And as a wise person, we can stand in an assertive way and give people space, a safe space, and give people an atmosphere that says, I'm giving you this room to evolve. I'm giving you this room to elevate. I'm giving you this room to catch it and to understand that you have the potential and the capacity to sort this out. But right now, this isn't my responsibility to fully attend to every petty resolve to bring every single person a solution. Some scales are indeed God's job and not yours. We do not need to be anchored down with unnecessary weights all the time. And I guarantee you, this is why the suicide rate is so high in church circles, in church leaderships, and specifically pastoral roles. And it's because we have associated the Bible as a means to solve every single problem for every individual that walks in that meeting room and is given a chair to speak. And we never stand up in an assertive place as a leader and demand space for them to grow, heal, and be delivered. And the reason why is because pastoral positions have allowed themselves to take on the role as constantly licking the wound and nurturing the wound, but never forcing the wound to heal and to stand up and mend and to walk forth and to walk forward. We cannot afford to play with minuscule things. We need to allow room for others to be able to handle greater situations, weightier situations, heavier situations, and give them the capacity to know that they can. Otherwise, we are milking codependency for ages and for eras, and it's never stopping. We are not requiring people to be responsible for their triggers, for their sensitive spots, for the things that are in dispute, discord, false witness, things that they can't agree with, things that they can't get on board with, just plain out some things that people just don't like. We cannot afford to solve everything that Joe and Sally doesn't like when they walk through the door. I have no control over Joe and Sally coming into my vision or into my destiny and saying everything that they don't like about it. What exactly would that do, and what would I benefit from in a position of having to solve that issue? How could I possibly solve that issue other than saying the obvious, that this is clearly a personal resolve that is designed to be in your personal space, that whatever you don't agree with is going to have to be fixed and solved in a personal manner. There's nothing I can mediate for you. There's nothing that I can even obtain to give you space to make this better for you. Do you see? But yet we have given a role to so many people, specifically being believers of the faith in Jesus Christ, even more so in that. But just dealing with relational people in society or culture alone. Believer or not, I think that this is a major soul issue. I think that this is a major humane problem throughout our existence. Now, believers and having the faith in Jesus Christ makes it that much more extraordinary because we have the antidote. We have the resolve and the answer within our faith and within biblical instructions. And this leads and guides our way into light so that we're not deceived. But just on a human race existence level, I say that this is absolutely a cultural problem, that we have not been given tools to assert and to handle well. And we have many people trying to evolve and grow through various revelations, through various other means of wisdom, but yet we forfeit people and connection, and we forfeit healthy space for relational connection. I can be healthy relationally connected to you and still give you space to be responsible for a conflict. In fact, that is absolutely the greatest space to love someone. That is the best space to hold, to endure with someone, because it doesn't give them a cop-out. It doesn't give them a way of escape. It gives them a reflection and a mirror in their hand that says it's time to look in the mirror and resolve whatever is happening within our identity, within our conscious life, and stop running from the problems and the roots and the cycles that we have allowed to entertain our life, and somehow put someone on a pedestal and think that they have to be the one to fix it. My God, my goodness, my goodness. So we are all responsible for the space we live in. Every one of us, them and you. I cannot make every individual on the planet's space superior. You can't do it either. But what I can do is give options on the highway there for you. I can give options for the highway there for them. And in this season, we will absolutely do better with our health, with our time, with our focus, with our spiritual life, with our longevity, and we will stop attending to municipal things that are minute and a waste and an exhaustion of our time and our energy, and we will stop saying yes to every knock on the door, every phone call that rings the cell phone, every inbox on Messenger, on social media, every single email does not deserve our attention. It just does not deserve my responsibility to put out every single ember and every single fire. Some of those are so minute that they will literally burn out themselves if you just leave it alone. If you just leave it alone, my friend. Some things are just needing to be left alone. If somebody could just leave in the comments today on what you thought about in this episode, about what this spoke to you concerning your moment, your present moment right now, I want you to comment that on what this episode spoke to you in those comments, and if this has been resonating or witnessing with you in this time, because I guarantee you we have so many distractions in this day and age. Complete waste of our time and our attention, that what it does is it sabotages our productivity, it pollutes our creativity, and it forges a gap between our innovation. And what that does is it eliminates our mobility, our ability to mobilize, our ability to gain momentum, our ability to ascend with acceleration. And it becomes a halt. It becomes a place where we are just completely in this neutral gear. And no one's moving forward. No one's progressing because we're tending to a million other different branches on our tree other than the ones bearing fruit. Other than the ones that need to be bearing fruit. So can we do better in this season? Can we make it a point to attend to the focus of the things that deserve our attention and truly put the ball in the court for others to grow where they need to grow? And I'm not talking being rude, because if you heard if you caught me in the beginning of this episode, I specifically said this. I said, your job is to maintain fruit and a pure heart. That means you are extending understanding. You're not in discord and you're not in conflict yourself, and you're certainly not extending it to the other opponent. What you are doing is you are creating space for the other individual to know that this isn't something for you to mediate. This is something for you to oversee. And what you're doing is you're overseeing it today, and you're giving them the tools of understanding on how they can grow in a relational, intelligent communicator. And you're giving them the environment to come up higher. But right now, they can go deal with the gossip and the slander and the minute things that are coming at you sideways that they may not agree with, or they may not enjoy, or they may not like. And just some things are just not even on that prototype. Some things are on a completely different paradigm. Some things are literally nonsense, where if you look at it, you're like, what on earth does this even mean? And how does this even pertain to me? And some of those things, I just simply don't respond at all. But you need to know your position so that when these circumstances arise, you have the tools in your tool belt and you're still progressing forward. You're not stagnant. That is the lesson of today. So make sure that you do me a favor. Make sure that you go ahead and you comment for me on this episode. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Let me know if it's spoken to you in any type of way of life. I know that it has, because I know that it speaks to just about every person that is listening. I believe it's been a treasure and a treat for you. So if this has blessed you, please go ahead and continue to do that. You can follow us on all free platforms: Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and all of those things. We have some important announcements coming up. We have some interviews coming up with a very important and special person that I cannot wait to share in February. So you want to be on the lookout for that, because we are beginning our interviews that are world-shaking, world life-changing, catalytic, moving, and just wow factor. So you want to make sure that you don't miss that. All right, well, I'll see you, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Make sure that you send us a holler. Make sure that you're following, you click that bell. Make sure that you are also sending us a 5-star review if you can. That helps us tremendously, and I will see you next time. God bless you. Have a great day. This is Jessie Liv, your talk show host of the Uncommon Woman Network. Can't wait to see you next time. See you Thursday.